and deep into one of the most heart-wrenching and iconic moments in cinematic history. The death of Mufasa at the hands of his own brother, Scar. We've all seen it. We've all cried over it. But have you ever truly broken down the sheer Machiavellian genius behind Scar's plan? It wasn't just a spontaneous act of rage. It was a meticulously crafted plot, a symphony of manipulation that played out exactly as he intended. So, grab your tissues, and let's dissect the cold, calculated steps Scar took to murder the king and seize the throne. It all starts with psychological warfare. Scar understood that to get to the king, he first needed to exploit the prince. Remember the elephant graveyard scene? That wasn't just a random adventure. It was a test run. Scar deliberately goaded Simba, knowing the cub's curiosity and desire to impress his father would lead him straight into danger. He framed it as a place only the bravest lions go, a challenge Simba couldn't resist. Mufasa, being the doting father he was, rushed in to save his son without a second thought. He didn't promise them power in the traditional sense. He promised them full bellies. This was a brilliant move. He leveraged their desperation, turning their hunger into a weapon. By promising them a place in the Pride Lands, he wasn't just recruiting minions. He was building a loyal force driven by a basic, powerful need for survival. They became the perfect pawns, willing to do his dirty work without questioning the morality of his plans. They were the muscle, the chaos, the distraction he needed. Now, with his pawn and his army in place, Scar was ready to set the stage for the final act. The location was key. He chose a narrow gorge, a natural death trap. The plan was simple, but devastatingly effective. First, he needed to isolate Simba. He brought the young cub to the gorge under a false pretense, telling him Mufasa had a marvelous surprise for him. He even instructed Simba to practice his roar, a cruel piece of dramatic irony. This small, innocent act would become the signal for the chaos to begin, leaving Simba alone and vulnerable in the bottom of the gorge as step one. The surprise was, of course, a stampede. With Simba perfectly positioned as the bait, Scar gave the signal to the hyenas, who were waiting on the ridge above. At his command, they chased a massive herd of wildebeest down into the gorge, creating a terrifying, unstoppable torrent of panicked animals. The ground shook, dust filled the air, and Simba was directly in the path of certain death. The trap was sprung. But remember, killing Simba wasn't the primary goal. He was just the lure. The real target was Mufasa. Scar immediately rushed to find Mufasa, putting on a masterful performance of feigned panic and concern. He cried out, "Mufasa! Quick! Stampede! In the gorge! Simba's down there!" Every word was chosen to trigger Mufasa's protective, paternal instinct. He didn't have to convince him. Mufasa's love for his son did all the work. Just as he did at the elephant graveyard, Mufasa didn't hesitate. He plunged into the heart of the stampede, a brave king fighting against an impossible tide to save his child. Zazu, ever the dutiful steward, tried to get help, but Scar swiftly knocked him unconscious, ensuring there would be no outside interference. No witnesses, just him, his brother, and the chaos he had unleashed. Down in the gorge, Mufasa fought with incredible strength and courage. He managed to find Simba and place him on a small, safe ledge. But in saving his son, he exhausted himself. The current of the stampede swept him away, and he was forced to desperately claw his way up the steep rock face of the gorge. This is the moment everything had been leading up to. Mufasa, weakened and desperate, looks up and sees his brother, Scar, standing on the ledge above him. For a fleeting moment, there's a flicker of hope. He calls out, "Scar, brother, help me." This is Scar's crowning moment of evil. He looks down at his brother, who is hanging on by his claws, completely at his mercy. And with a chilling, triumphant sneer, he digs his own claws into Mufasa's paws. He leans in close, savoring the moment, and whispers the iconic, venomous words, "Long live the king." And with that, he throws his brother from the cliff, sending him plummeting to his death in the stampede below. The murder is complete. The true king is dead. But Scar's plan wasn't finished. The final, and arguably most twisted, part was the psychological manipulation of Simba. A horrified Simba witnesses his father's fall. Scar approaches the grieving, traumatized cub, but not with comfort. He twists the knife. He convinces Simba that the entire tragedy was his fault. "Simba," he says with false sympathy, "what have you done?" He tells Simba that his tiny roar started the stampede and that if it weren't for him, Mufasa would still be alive. He places the full, unbearable weight of his father's death on a child's shoulders. Then he delivers the final blow. "Run away, Simba. Run away and never return." He doesn't just kill the king. He exiles the heir and manipulates him into believing he deserves it. As Simba flees in shame and terror, Scar sends the hyenas after him, ordering them to finish the job, to tie up every last loose end. And so, the coup is complete. With Mufasa dead, and Simba presumed dead, there is no one left to challenge Scar's claim to the throne. He returns to Pride Rock, not as a murderer, but as a grieving brother who has tragically lost both his brother and his nephew in one terrible accident. He delivers a mock eulogy and, with the hyenas flanking him as his new honor guard, he ascends Pride Rock and declares himself the new king. His plan, born from years of jealousy and bitterness, was executed flawlessly. He used love, trust, and innocence as weapons to orchestrate one of the most brilliant and devastating villainous plots ever put to screen. It's a dark, tragic masterpiece of manipulation. And at SY, the death of Mufasa remains a moment that has haunted and captivated audiences for generations. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think is the most cunning part of Scar? A story of Simba's darkest night. A time when he almost lost everything he had just fought so hard to reclaim. This isn't a story you'll find in the movie, but it is one that connects the dots and reveals just how deep Scar's shadow truly was. Let's set the scene. The battle is over. The hyenas are gone, scattered to the wastelands. The fire is extinguished by the life-giving rains. Sima, Iskignala, Isiskui, and hope has returned. But the land itself is still scarred. Literally, the herds are slow to return. The grass is still sparse, and the skeletons of the elephant graveyard are a constant, grim reminder of the recent past. The physical healing of the Pride lands would take months, even years. But the psychological healing, that's a much harder battle to win. Imagine being Simba in those first few weeks. He's the king, the savior everyone looks to. But inside, he's still the same cub who ran away, haunted by the belief that he killed his own father. He now knows the truth. That Scar was the murderer, but a lifetime of guilt doesn't just vanish overnight. Every corner of Pride Rock would hold a memory. He'd see the gorge where Mufasa fell, the rock where Scar delivered his twisted lies. He's surrounded by lionesses who suffered under Scar's rule, their eyes filled with a mixture of hope and lingering trauma. The pressure on him would have been immense, and that's where our story begins, with a faction of lionesses who remained loyal to Scar. Well, power is a complex thing. Scar wasn't just a brute, he was manipulative. These loyalists wouldn't have just accepted defeat. They would have gone underground, biding their time, whispering in the shadows. She knew the Pride was still fragile. Her plan wasn't a full frontal assault. It was something far more insidious. She aimed to break Simba's spirit, to prove to the Pride that he was weak and unworthy of Mufasa's legacy. She wanted to make him fail, to turn his own kingdom against him. The plan began subtly. A whisper here, a rumor there. The herds aren't returning because the true king is gone. These seeds of doubt, planted among the other animals, and even some of the more fearful lionesses, started to sprout. Simba, already struggling with his own insecurities, would have heard these whispers. He'd try to shrug them off, to project confidence, but the words would burrow deep. Then came the sabotage. A water source would be mysteriously contaminated. These weren't huge disasters, just a series of small, demoralizing failures. Each one chipped away at Simba's confidence and the Pride's faith in him, making it look like Simba was simply incompetent, unable to fill his father's shoes. The turning point came on a moonless night. She didn't challenge him to a fight. Instead, she confronted him with a psychological weapon. She and her followers cornered him, not with claws, but with words steeped in poison. We know about the stampede. We know you left your father to die. Oh, we know Scar killed him. But where were you? Hiding in the jungle, singing songs, while we suffered. A true king would have stayed. A true king would have fought. You are nothing but a coward who wears a crown. She twisted his guilt, his grief, and his fear into a weapon against him. In that moment, Simba broke. He wasn't facing a physical enemy he could fight. He fled, an imposter, unworthy of being king. He stared into the abyss, the taunts of malice echoing in his ears. But as Simba stood on that precipice, ready to give up, another voice cut through the darkness. It was Rafiki. The past can hurt, Rafiki said, perhaps more gently this time. You faced the truth. Do not let his ghost chase you away again. And then, another voice. Nala, having returned early from the hunt, she had seen Simba was gone and tracked him. She didn't see a failed king. She saw the lion she loved, tormented and in pain. She reminded him not of who his father was, but of who he was. You are not your father, Simba, she said, her voice firm but loving. And you are not Scar. You are yourself, the lion who came back, the lion who saved us. That is who the pride needs. Her words, combined with Rafiki's wisdom, were the lifeline Simba needed. Simba returned to Pride Rock. Just as the sun began to rise, Malice and her followers were already trying to seize control, declaring to the other lionesses that Simba had abandoned them, just as they predicted. But then, Simba appeared on the ledge, Nala at his side. He didn't look broken or defeated. He looked like a king. He didn't roar. Yes, I ran away, he declared. I faced the lion who murdered my father and tyrannized our home. I am not haunted by my uncle's shadow. I am guided by my father's light. And my place is here. He directly confronted Malice, exposing her lies and manipulations for all to see. The lionesses who had been wavering now saw the truth. They saw Malice's bitter ambition and Simba's genuine strength. The confrontation was short. The other lionesses, led by Sarabi, quickly surrounded Malice. And her few followers, there was no need for a bloody battle. Their power was broken the moment their lies were exposed. They were exiled, banished to the outlands, where their bitterness would fester and eventually lead to the events of the Lion King II. This secret chapter, this story of Simba's darkest night, is crucial. It shows that victory isn't a single event, but an ongoing process. It transformed Simba from a prince who simply took his rightful place into a true king who earned it, not just by defeating a foe, but by conquering his own inner demons. He learned that leadership isn't about being perfect or never showing weakness. It's about facing that weakness and finding the strength to stand up again with the help of those who love you. The rains that fell after Scar's defeat washed away the fire. But it was this victory, this inner triumph, that truly cleansed the pride lens and allowed the sun to shine on a new and much stronger king. Thank you so much for watching. If you love digging deeper into the stories you thought you knew, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments what you think about Simba's secret struggle. Until next time,